How should Batman train in order to prepare his body for peak performance during his crime fighting endeavors? What physical qualities should he emphasize and focus on building? In today's video, we'll answer these questions by analyzing the program that I would give to Batman if I was his strength and conditioning coach. And you can find a link to the full Batman workout program in the description below. Please remember to like the video and subscribe to my channel. And if you enjoy content like this, then please consider supporting my work by picking up a training program from my website. It's on EnkiriEliteFitness.com. I have over 50 5-star reviews on Google. You can check them out for yourself. And if you do, your gains will thank you. I hope you enjoy the video. So the premise here is that I'm Batman's strength and conditioning coach. I'm not the skills coach. I'm not the grappling or fighting coach. I'm the S&C guy, the strength and conditioning guy, the guy who creates the training plan that makes him bigger and stronger and more powerful so that he can then become a more formidable and more powerful fighter, so that he has the potential to dole out more damage with stronger blows, take more damage by being more resilient, evade more damage by being quicker and faster, chase bad guys down better, run away from danger better, or have the capacity to perform any other physical feat that he may be called upon to perform in the moment. His training program should bolster the physical capacities that support this vast array of requirements and skills, as Batman is essentially an athlete with a diverse amount of needs and physical qualities that need to be built in order for him to excel. So we need to create a program for him that emphasizes his diverse primary needs, fills in any secondary gaps, and keeps him healthy in the process. So before we jump into the program itself, let's diagnose what these diverse physical needs are in order of relative importance. First and foremost is going to be total body strength, with an emphasis on the legs, hips, and back. Batman is going to need strong-ass wheels in order to keep himself grounded and deliver massive blows. He's going to need strong hips and a strong back as his foundation, and he's going to also need a strong upper body, chest, arms, and shoulders to overpower opponents in grappling and hand-to-hand combat type situations. Strength is his number one primary need, as this is going to provide the foundation for the rest of his physical qualities to build off of. And if Batman is weak, he simply has no chance. So first and foremost, we need to make him fucking strong. Next up is power. Power is force applied rapidly, and it's the foundation for most athletic things. Power allows us to jump high, accelerate quickly, run fast, punch hard, kick hard, throw far, etc. We need Batman to build a heck of a lot of power so that he can perform athletic maneuvers very well and hit people really fucking hard with insane amounts of accelerative force. After that, we want to focus on building some muscular size, sheer muscular size, because all else being equal, a larger opponent is a more formidable one. This is why heavyweight boxers don't box against featherweight boxers, because the size discrepancy gives them a potentially dangerous advantage over a much smaller opponent. In this case, we want Batman to have that potentially dangerous advantage in his favor, so we want him to be as big as possible while keeping those first two physical qualities intact. The bigger he is, the harder that he's going to be to take down, the more resilient and tough that his body is going to be, and just plain the more fucking intimidating that he's going to be as well. Then speed and quickness enter the equation. Now, we want him to be fast, at least within reason, when you're balancing so many different training variables and when you're placing size as a priority above speed. We want him to be fast, though, simply so that he can chase opponents down and outrun the bad guy. But probably more important than raw speed is going to be having a super quick first step and being super quick covering short distances up to about 20 yards or so, while also being very agile as well, for the sake of evasiveness. And these latter two qualities are also going to be much easier to maintain as he gains that raw size as compared to pure running speed. So that's a good thing for him, because we want him to be friggin' jacked, which means we're probably going to lose some raw speed as we gain all of that size. Then it's cardio, conditioning, stamina, whatever you want to call it. We need to work on the cardiovascular system as well, just to make sure that he doesn't gas out halfway through an encounter. Now, in general, we want to make sure that he is such a brutal force to be reckoned with that most encounters end well before this even becomes a potential factor. But in spite of that, we do still need to make sure we keep our ducks in a row and we keep this segment up to snuff, just in case he runs into some Billy Badass one day who takes a little bit longer to subdue than most opponents. And finally, we want to make sure he has solid overall mobility. Having good overall mobility through the hips, knees, ankles, shoulders, etc., and being very strong and stable at those end range positions as well is going to ensure that he can seamlessly handle any awkward positions that his body might get thrown into during a fight. Now that we've covered the primary physical qualities that Batman needs to work on to excel in his role as the Dark Knight, let's check out the Batman workout program that's going to help him get there. Now, I'm not going to go over every single detail here. If you want to see the full program, you can check out the link in the description below for a little bit more info about the individual exercises in each training session. But one thing you will probably notice is that this is a conjugate-inspired training program with a little bit of a hybrid athlete flair thrown into it as well. In my opinion, the conjugate method would most likely be the optimal style of training for our friend Bruce Wayne, aka the Caped Crusader, aka the Dark Knight. The conjugate principles are going to allow him to build absolutely brutal strength across a wide variety of different exercises within the major, most important movement patterns. So, for example, when I put squat or deadlift or bench press or overhead press in this program, I don't mean I want Batman doing one single movement. I don't mean that I want him just doing a flat bench press with a straight bar. I mean I want him doing 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 different variations of that single movement over time. So for the squat, it can be a back squat, a front squat, a box squat from the back, a box squat from the front, a pin squat from the back, a pin squat from the front, an Anderson squat from the back, an Anderson squat from the front, a Zercher squat, etc., etc., etc. There are a million different variations you can use. For the overhead work, it could be a push press, a pin OHP, an AD press, a Larson AD press, a BTN press, etc. And the same applies to the flat and incline bench variations as well as the deadlifts. You can find probably 10 to 20 different variations within each of these major movement patterns and focus on building brutal strength by hitting new 3 to 5 rep maxes on a bunch of these different variations over time. And this is going to avoid staleness and overuse. It's going to keep the gains train flowing basically forever. These same conjugate principles allow us the opportunity to work through multiple different secondary movements with a hypertrophy emphasis now instead of a strength one. So I want full range of motion. Good mornings here. I want you trying to suck your own dick at the bottom of these good mornings. I want Bruce to focus on building up that range of motion over time in order to build a steel cable for a back, as well as a long and strong posterior chain. Good mornings can be done freestanding or off of pins. They can be done with the straight bar or the SSB for another additional element of brutality. Resisted sprints build power and explosiveness in the legs and hips. Pistol squats build hip mobility and stability. Walking lunges build muscle and strength endurance in the lower body. The runs and sandbag carries build grit, toughness, stamina, and cardiovascular capacity. This multimodality style conditioning work adds a little bit of hybrid athlete flair to our conjugate inspired principles, and it rounds out the program, ensuring that Bruce has absolutely zero weak links when all is said and done. And the primary presses and pulls build ridiculous strength at comical size across the major muscle groups of the upper body. The high rep calisthenic segments build slabs of muscle and enhance work capacity and mental fortitude. A variety of throws, slams, tosses, plyo push-ups, and Olympic lifts build total body power and guarantee effective and massively damaging strikes in a technically proficient athlete. Overall, this is one doozy of a program. There are a lot of moving parts when it comes to considering an athlete like this, and I will be the first person to say that this program is highly advanced and is not for the faint of heart or for your average Joe athlete to be undertaking. It is basically an advanced hybrid athlete conjugate inspired protocol that relies on high levels of work capacity and seeks to slowly improve every physical quality in a slow burn type of fashion in order to turn you into the ultimate physical badass who can do basically anything and is ready to take on whatever twisted shit that the Joker can possibly come up with. Anyway, that is the Batman workout program. Please bear in mind, as a caveat, that this program is just a thought experiment. It was a fun thought experiment, but it is just a thought experiment. It's literally written for motherfucking Batman, an advanced physical specimen with years of hardcore training under his belt and an orphan who watched his parents get killed. So the dude has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder as well. If you aren't also an advanced physical specimen with years of hardcore training under your belt and a chip on your shoulder, then this program is probably too advanced for you. But aspiring to build up to this kind of workload and this kind of versatility in your training is going to make you a physical badass one day. So while this may not be the starting point for you, it is something to aim for if that's your goal. And I say shoot for the moon, guys. Please remember to like the video and subscribe to my channel. Leave me a friendly comment down below. And if you enjoy content like this, then please consider supporting my work by picking up a training program from my website. That's EnkiriEliteFitness.com. Keep training hard, and I will catch you guys next time.